Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today we are going to be looking at the Hiforny. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced. 72 Black Edition colored pencils. I got these for my birthday and I have finally been able to sit down and review them. They come in a cardboard package with two little trays. I don't like the packaging. I don't like cardboard box packaging. It is dangerous for the poor pencils. So yeah, this package is definitely not one of my favorites. Sometimes the metal packaging can be even more detrimental. Now, one of the reasons why I don't like this packaging is because you end up with pencils like this. Um, when I went to sharpen this pencil, the core completely shattered. And I think it's because of the impact of moving back and forth in the packaging. Now, the pencils themselves are a black wood pencil. They are acid-free, non-toxic basswood, blackwood. They do have I don't know if you can see it, a name, a number, as well as a light fast mark. I don't trust the light fast marks because it doesn't say anywhere on here that it was, well, it is an ASTM International Standards Worldwide certified, designed in USA, manufactured in China, that sort of thing, but it does not, I just don't know if it's important. It's not important to me. Um, Coloring and coloring books is not horribly light fast requiring, but if you are an artist and light fast is important to you, do yourself a favor and put color an area on some paper with each of the pencils. Put it out in an open area where the sun is going to reach it and test the light fastness of it for a month before you decide that you're going to color a um, piece for sale or for hanging on the wall, just to make sure that you have the light fastness that they say you do. Um, of course, I have swatched these, and it is approximately a 2-minute swatch. It will go really quick because it is only a 72 set. Once we take a look at the swatch, we'll do our testing, and then we might actually color a little bit of something with them. I have started a page with them, so maybe we'll color a little bit on that page. All right, guys, so sit back, grab your cup of coffee, enjoy the swatch. I do not swatch at this speed. This is definitely increased in speed. I do swatch fairly quickly, but not this quickly. All right, guys, so sit back, relax, enjoy the swatch. I will be right back. All right, so that wasn't too bad. Now, they do have a good selection of yellows into our oranges. I don't think they have enough orange. We've got a orange, like a bright orange, and then we've got a dark red orange. And then into our reds, our pinks. There's not a lot of skin tones in here, but you are able to create a skin tone combination, which I will show you here in a little bit. Into our purples, our blues. They are blue and green heavy, like most budget-friendly sets are. Not horribly, but they do still have a heavy blue and green area. And then from our blues into our blue greens and our green blues, into our greens, into our browns, and then we have a set of grays here. Now, I'm not sure if this is really qualified as a warm gray. It has a lot of pink to it. So I'm going to turn on this light because we're getting a weird shadow. I don't like it. So we've got a bit of a pink tone to it, which is a little bit more red into that gray than I would consider a warm gray. Into our light grays, our medium grays, into our dark grays and our black. And then these ones here are all metallic. So we've got gold, orange, red, violet, cyan blue, metallic teal, and silver. So all of those are metallic colors, which you can intersperse into your other colors and just give it that little bit of a metallic shine. All right, so those are all of the colors. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit and we will get started on our testing. So of course on the back of my swatch charts I do print a test area. Now all of these swatch charts are available on my coffee shop or Ko-fi, whichever way you want to put it. And all of them can be purchased, including the swatch test page. The test page I do have on there for free. So of course, you can make a donation if you so choose. However, you can definitely print off the test page without any charge. All right, so we're going to grab yellow. Let's see, which yellow do we need? I have a chart that I messed up on over here, so I can actually not even have to flip it over. So we're going to start with autumn gold, which it's a brighter yellow. It's got a little bit of a little tiny bit of an orange to it, but it will definitely do the job that we want it to do. And as you can see, they lay down quite smoothly. I'm not having to put a lot of pressure on the pencil to get it to lay down. I do believe these are an oil base just by the feel of them. However, they do have a bit of a softer wax mixture in it as well. So there is our yellow. Now our red, we're going to use red, which is this one here. I do find little dry bits every once in a while in the pencil. Now I'm not sure if that's just the mixture not being completely mixed when it was solidified, or when it was pressed through there was a piece of something in the core. But I do find that you can sharpen past them or just turn the pencil the opposite direction and it eliminates it for the time being. Alright, so that's our red, and then we're going to go into our blue, and we are going to use blue for that. So this is our water resistance test. The reason why I do a water resistance test, I know I keep on saying do. The reason why I do a water resistance test is because of the fact that I add a lot of embellishments. So if I use a gel pen for sparkle or a paint pen for sparkle or use a watercolor for backgrounds or anything like that, I do want to know if the pencils are going to move once that water-based product is touching the pencil area. If the pencil moves with that water-based product, I would have a issue of spread. So what that means is I would end up with that color bleeding into the water-based product. And sometimes I want that, sometimes I don't. Alright, so we've got our water brush pen here. I've just put water out of it so that it's running. Now these put out quite a bit of water, so you have to be fairly careful with them. And that yellow definitely moved. I was able to pick it up. Same with the red. So as you can see there, it picked up quite a bit of that red. I'm going to wipe that off, make sure that I don't spread it into the blue. And as you can see, it definitely moves the blue as well. So the area that I am wiping the brush on is a paper towel here on the side. And as you can see, there's yellow, blue, and red. All of it did move and was picked up by the brush. So definitely not water resistant. Now we're going to do a smudge resistancy test as well. The reason why I do a smudge resistancy test is because my hand tends to smudge pencils, and I do know a lot of different people that say the same thing, that they'll lay down an area, color an area next to it, and be touching that area with their hand and move that color all over the page. And we don't want that. If you don't want an area colored the wrong color because your hand has moved over an area that's been colored, then you need to know whether or not the pigment is going to move with your hands. So that's why I do the smudge test. Just for my own use, to know whether or not I need to wear my glove while using these, or if I need to seal it before I move on to the next area. Alright, so there's our red. Now we're going to do our blue. Now with the fact that they moved with water, does tell me that they will possibly move with my hand. Because 9 times out of 10, if they move with water, they'll move with my hand. Just because, our hands have a little bit of moisture in our skin, and that's what's moving that pigment, either the moisture in your skin or the oils in your skin, stuff like that. Definitely moves the yellow, and definitely move the red, and definitely move the blue. And it actually picked it up on my fingers, so we're going to actually wipe that off. So as you can see with the water resistancy test as well as the smudge test, both of those tests show that these pencils do move with pressure, friction, as well as water. Now we're going to do a 3-color blend. So we're going to grab this one, and this one. And we're going to see how well these blend together to create a gradiency. So I've got dark pink, light pink, and sakura. And we're going to start with the dark pink. I'm going to sharpen this one because it's really dull. and I want it a little bit sharper. They do work fine in electric sharpeners as well as the hand crank sharpener. Make sure that you wipe it off first, just to make sure that you don't have any buildup in your sharpener that is going to get picked up on the pencil. And we're going to lay this color down. And we're going to build that three-color blend moving around the circle. I'm going to turn it slightly here. And I'm going to go darker down here. Just building that color up. And this is why I believe that they are an oil-based pencil, because I can build the color up, but I can't smush it in. So if I put too much pressure on the pencil, all it's going to do is fill in the tooth of the paper without building that color and getting that depth of color. Where with a really soft wax pencil, you could actually squish that in and then squish more color into it. I've seen it done so many times with Prismas and that sort of thing, where you can just put pressure on that pencil and just mash it into the page and continue to mash other colors into it. With an oil-based pencil, you will find that that does not work very well. So I'm just putting in a blending area here for the next color. So there is our dark pink. Now we're going to go with our light pink. And we're going to start into our blending area, and then we're going to blend that out. So it is blending into it. I'm not getting that harsh line. And then we're going to bring it out. I am getting a little bit of crumbling. And the reason why that's important is because that tells you that you need to use your brush. If you do find that your pencils are crumbly, don't use your hand to wipe it off. I used to do that, and a good friend of mine used to knitter at me and actually bought me my wonderful brush that I use. And the reason being is that you end up wiping that color across your page and basically scratching that color into your page where you don't want it to be. Now this one's the Sakura, and we're going to come into the blend area. And we're blending into that light pink. And moving it into the Sakura, eliminating that line, just softening it up a little bit as we go into the blank space where the Sakura is going to only be. So definitely does blend well together. They do give you a good mix. So you can definitely do a gradient blend with them and get a really good mix of light, medium, and dark. So definitely I feel that they blend nicely. I could have put a few more coats of the light down. As you can see, there's still a lot of white space there. So definitely would be able to add more color to that if I needed to. Now a rainbow blend is when you can take your primary colors, your red, yellow, and blue, and create your secondary colors. So what we're going to do here is we're going to blend these together to create orange and green. So we're going to start off with our red, and we're going to put down a good layer of red. And we're going to blend into it with yellow, creating a dark orange, and then we're going to bring the red back through into the yellow, creating that light orange. So there's our red for our swatch, and then we're going to come in with the yellow. I'm going to start back here for the area that I want the blue to blend into, because I don't want to pick up the red and move it to where the blue is going to be. This is where that light orange is going to be, and this is yellow area here in the center. So as we go into the red, you can see that darker orange starting to form. And then we're going to bring that red through to the yellow, creating that lighter orange. I'm going to dust that off, and then come back through with the yellow to finish it off. And that gives you that light orange color. Now for our blue, so it did blend red to red orange, and then orange, and then yellow. Now with our blue, we're going to come in from this side. We're going to do our blue. Now the darker the blue, the darker the green. Also going from yellow to blue, you're going to get a lighter green than if you went from blue to yellow. So we're going from yellow to blue here, and then we'll go from blue to yellow. So I'm going to take that yellow and I'm going to go over it again. I'm going to make sure I wipe off any red that may be on the pencil. And we're going to bring that through to there. And then again with the blue. So it definitely does create the green. The blue to the yellow gives you a dark green, and then from the yellow to the blue gives you a lighter green. So definitely does give you that mixture and that blend. So we definitely have orange, we definitely have green. All right, so now the blender test. The blender test is where we blend the colors together using a blender, either a Caran d'Ache blender or a Derwent blender or that sort of thing. I am going to use the Caran d'Ache blender because it is the one I reach for 99% of the time. So that's the one that I will use most of the time to blend all of the pencils I use. So it's the one I'm going to test this with. If it does not work with the Caran d'Ache blender, I will grab a different blender and see what does work with it. Sometimes the best blender is the white, and we are going to test that blendability on the page as well. All right, so we're going to do our blend test with the pinks. So I'm starting with the dark pink, and I'm just putting down a good layer. Now, if you don't have enough pigment on the page, you will find that the blender doesn't move it around. Now, one of the issues I have doing this right now is I've got a texture on my desk, on the desktop, and it's actually picking up that texture. So we will see if we can blend past that texture. All right, now for the light pink. And what we're going to be trying to do is eliminate any harsh lines, start and stop lines, and B, eliminate any white spot. And then the Sakura. All right. Now we're going to take the blender and we're going to start in the lightest area, and we're going to move opposite the way that we started. So I'm going to turn this slightly so my hand can do what I need it to do. And it does move that pigment, filling in the white spot. And it does blend them together. So the Caran d'Ache blender does work for these quite nicely, actually. Building those colors together. Now, if you do see a lot of debris like this from your blender, that could mean one of two things. Either you've got not enough pigment on the page and the blender is breaking down trying to blend it, or you've got too much pigment on the page and the blender is casting off any excess. So if you're getting chunks from your blender on it coming off in little curls, then it's because you don't have enough pigment on the page. If you have a lot of pigment on the page and the blender is curling off with a lot of the color, but you don't see any lifting of color, then you may have a lot of color on the page and the blender is just moving a little bit of it and getting rid of it instead of redispersing it because there's nowhere to redisperse it to. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing and we're going to use the white pencil from the set to blend. So we're going to do our dark pink, our medium pink. So this is light pink. So we've got dark pink, light pink, and then we're going to go with the Sakura. Now with blending with the white, if your white is at all opaque, depending upon the opacity of your white, will depend upon how much that color is going to change. With white, it will dampen the color, so it will lighten the color up when you come across with the white. Now I went up and down, so I'm going to go back and forth. So starting in our lightest color, and as you can see, it definitely does blend it. It moves it into each other quite well and does cover up the white spot quite well as well. However, you will see that there's a lot of change in the intensity of the color. So if you look at the intensity of this color compared to the intensity of this color, you do see a difference in the intensity. Now, I got these as a gift, so I'm going to have to look up the cost of the pencil. So just one moment while I do that, because I was silly and didn't do it beforehand. 72. And those ones. So they are $13.99 for the set of 72 pencils. On sale for, they actually have a set that has a blender and a white gel pen. That's really cool. I would assume since it's a blender from their company that you could blend with that easier. There's also a set that is in a satchel, a bag, um, that is only $20, and it comes with the bag. So that's pretty cool as well. So for this set itself, I would definitely say if you can afford the extra $6, get the one with the bag, because that case is going to protect your pencils more. But for this demonstration, the price for these pencils is $13.99 currently. Regular price is $14.99. So because they're on sale for 7% off, they're $1 off. But we're going to go with the $14.99 because that's the regular price. So we're going to divide that by 72 pencils. As soon as I can find my calculator, there we go. So 14.99 divided by 72 equals 20 cents a pencil. So I do believe 20 cents per pencil. I think even though the price cost for them is fantastic. So we're gonna give them 5 stars for the price cost because that price range is really, really good. Color selection, I think we have a really good amount of each color. Um, the only one I think is a little lacking is the orange, but as I've shown you here, you can easily build that orange color. So I do believe that they will get a 4 for color selection. Because other than that, they do have a really good color selection for a 72 set. There's not a lot of repeat colors or colors that are so close to each other that they could have gotten rid of them. However, they could have gotten rid of some of the metallics and increased the orange tones into those peachy skin tones as well. Definitely have good color saturation. The color does go down really nicely and cover very well. So we're going to give them 5 stars for the color saturation. And of course, they are not open stock. So we're going to give them 0 stars for that. All right, so I do believe they blended quite well with the blender as well as the white. They definitely did the rainbow and they definitely did the 3-color blend. They did fail the smudge test and the water resistancy test. So for 20 cents a pencil, I think they're doing pretty good. I don't know what's going on with my camera. It just doesn't seem to be picking up the light the way it should. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 13, 18, and we've got 5, 10, 20, 21, 22, 18 out of 26. So that's more than a 50%, so that is not bad at all. Would I suggest purchasing these? Definitely, especially if you're a collector of either black barrel, blackwood pencils, or if you're a collector of pencils like I am. They do color really, really well, and they do color well in coloring books. So I'm going to grab my coloring book. How much time do we have? Oh, we've got a little bit of time. So I'm going to grab my coloring book that I have been working on, and hopefully the lighting in here gets figured out. I don't know why my camera is showing up that way. And I'm not sure if it's something to do with the camera itself. I've been having a weird situation where the camera is focusing on backgrounds and that sort of thing instead of focusing on the color of the page that I'm doing. Alright, so the page that I'm working on is this one here. And as you can see, it did do the skin tone very, very nicely. So we're going to actually do we'll do this area here and see how well it compares to other pencils and that sort of thing. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our Prismacolor white and we're going to put our spots on because of the fact that the Prisma does tend to stand out. A little bit better. Alright, now we're going to go with our creamy yellow and we're going to base coat. And I'm going to there we go. Zoom you in a little bit so you can actually see what's going on. Now we could have definitely done this on the swatch chart and colored some of the flowers on the swatch chart, which I will do for my own reference. When I look at the swatch chart, it tells me how well they blend and that sort of thing on the front of the page, not only on the back of the page. But this actually gives me information on how well they do in a coloring book. Now, this book is not your basic Amazon coloring book. The pages in this book are a little bit smoother. So coloring in this book with them, it gives me the ability to tell if they blend together on smoother paper with a little bit less tooth than, say, an Amazon paper or a Nina cardstock. And so far, they're laying down quite nicely. So as you can see, going over top of those white areas that I put down with the Prismacolor, they stand out a little bit more. You can definitely see that they're there, which helps me know where to put the white spots when I put the gel pen down. Okay, so there's our first color. Now we're going to come in with this one here, which is the Autumn Gold, which is the color that we started with on for our swatch test. So this is the color that we have used for our swatch test. So it's a nice bright yellow. And we're going to Come off of that darker area into that lighter area. We're going to be taking over the majority of the area with the brighter color and leaving some of that lighter color for highlight. Same with through here. Goodness. I've got a grumble monster in my tum-tum. Hopefully you can't hear him. So what we're doing is we're replicating the artist's coloring. So I'm not choosing these colors. These colors are not of my brain. I am choosing the pencil closest to the color that the artist has chosen for this page. And trying to get as close to her vision as possible. And of course we're going to be adding other colors as well as coming back through with that lighter yellow and re-establishing those highlight areas a little bit deeper. And these are sunflower petals, so all right. So there's our yellows, and now we're going to come in with some dark yellow, which is a little bit of a brown to it. And then we'll come in with some orange colors as well. Like so. And again, just following the page that the artist has already colored, which does make this actually a lot less stressful to me. I'm actually really enjoying coloring this book because the artist has done such a wonderful job on her color choices and directions on where she really envisioned the pages to go. Does make it a lot easier to color without having to stress too much on whether or not you've ruined the page, or whether or not your color choices don't fit the page, that sort of thing. Of course, you do not have to follow the suggestion of the artist. Um, and sometimes people do find it quite daunting to have the artist colored pictures next to the picture. There is a couple in here that I don't think I will color the same way as the artist because it's just not color choices that I would have chosen. Her choices are absolutely gorgeous and that sort of thing, but I just don't see myself being able to color with the choices that she has colored with. And it's not because they're bad choices, it's just I just can't bring myself to use those colors for a couple of them. But as you can see, I'm able to layer multiple layers of color on top of each other and blend them together so that they are working well together and enhancing each other, not just sitting on top of each other and getting all glumpy. If you've had a pencil set that does not like layering, you know what I mean by all glumpy, where you put down a color and then you put down the next color and it just sort of cakes on top of it and it looks all yucky. All right. Now we're going to take our orange and we're going to start adding that in there as well. Giving us a little bit of brightness against the yellow. And we will be blending this through again with the lighter yellow just to finish it off and get that lighter yellow nice and bright. I will be dusting this off just to make sure that the lighter yellow doesn't pick up any of that excess orange because it is crumbling a little bit. And I don't want it to pick up too much of that. Alright, now we're going to take our light yellow again. So we're going to take the creamy yellow and we're just going to go over the whole thing. Blending those colors together. And as we go, we can add more of the browns. I feel that the brown that I've used may not be brown enough, so I might go through with a deeper brown, more of a yellow orange brown instead of a yellow brown, and deepen up a little bit of that brown area. So, and I'm going to grab, I think this one. Yeah, I'm going to grab some ginger yellow, and we're just going to give a little bit more of a brown tone to that. Don't do that. Use your All right. That's better. I am, however, getting to the end of the tooth of the page in some areas, so it does feel a little bit more slick. But I'm liking that a little bit better. Just adding to that brown just a little bit more with a little bit of a ginger color, ginger brown, and blending that orange in with it a little bit better, like so. All right. Then we're going to take our blender, and we're just going to blend to the edges. Making sure that we get all those colors moved together, and that that white spot is lessened. And this is where you're going to start seeing the spots that we put in with the white pop up a little bit better. All right, then we're going to take our white gel pen. We're going to make sure it's working. And as you can see, the pencil, even though it is not water resilient, is not actually bleeding into the gel pen. like it would if I didn't blend it first. So that's why I blend things before I start putting gel pen and that sort of thing down. And that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy the Caran d'Ache gel pen, or the Caran d'Ache blender, sorry, is it does tend to give a little bit of water resistance to the pencils because of the wax base that is in the blender itself. So I have done her face with the pencils here. I have not blended it because I do feel that I'm going to need to add more color to it. I'm going to move it down here so you can see the areas that I have colored. This is all done with the Hiforny colored pencils, and I will be completing this page with the Hiforny to replicate the artist's page. Now, of course, I'm not going to get it exact because I'm not the artist. And, even if the artist was to try to duplicate her work again, she would get it very, very close. However, I don't think she would be able to duplicate it exactly because every pencil stroke is different. So, but you can definitely use these pencils to get close to the same color combination as the artist has used, even though there isn't a lot of skin tones, um, whether it's the peaches, the deep browny peach colors, that sort of thing. There's not a lot of those in this set. So getting the skin tones themselves to be the same was a bit of a challenge, and I definitely did not accomplish it. However, I was able to accomplish quite a nice skin tone just with what I had available in the set. Now I am still working on the skin. I still need to add color to it. However, I'm going to do that after I get the other colors on the page because up against the white, it's a little washed out. And once you start adding color, the less washed out it's going to look. So I'm going to wait on adding any more color to her face until after I have the flowers and that sort of thing done. But that is the Hiforny. I'm going to zoom you out here and hopefully the camera doesn't go all gray. Why is that? The autofocus is not on, so I don't know. This camera is doing weird things to me. So that is the Hiforny colored pencils. They are a black barrel, so a black wood pencil. They are named, numbered, as well as light fast rated. Can't guarantee the light fast rating is correct or accurate. However, they do have that on there. I did color this area here as well as the flower here with the Hiforny, and I do find that they are laying down very well in this book. Now, this book does not have the same paper in it that you would find in a Amazon basic coloring book. So ones that use that Amazon paper will have a different quality of paper in them than this book. I cannot state how well they do on Amazon paper because I haven't used them on Amazon paper. They did not pass the water resistancy test. They did not pass the smudge test. They did pass the 3-color blend into a gradients as well as a rainbow blend creating that orange and that green. The blender tested very well. It blended the colors together as well as removed any white spot in the blend. Also, the white did quite well in removing the white spot and blending those colors together. However, it did lighten the colors a slight bit. Now, the white in this set is not extremely opaque, so it does work really well as a blender for these pencils because it does contain the same composition as the pencils, which allows them to blend together a little bit better. The cost of the pencils is $14.99 regular price. They are currently on sale for 7% off, which does work out to be about 20 cents a pencil, which is actually really, really good. Um, they definitely are worth 20 cents a pencil. The color selection is quite nice. However, I do find that their use of metallics at the end of their color selection to be a little bit of a waste of space. They could have easily just kept with the basic metallic silver and gold and utilized these 5 colors here for more oranges, more reds, more pink, more of those peachy tone colors and that sort of thing. So I find that this area here is a little bit of a waste of space. Of course, it is a little blue heavy, a little green heavy. Those are definitely things that are typical in a lesser cost set of pencils. So I gave them a 4 on their color selection. It's not a perfect score, but it's not a horrible score either. Their color saturation their colors lay down very, very nicely, and they are very pigmented. So it does give you a really good amount of color. They are definitely not open stock, so they did lose some marks on that. Now I am going to test one other thing. I want to see how well they erase because I do move my hand and that sort of thing. Now this one here has not been blended, so I'm going to test the eraser on this one here. And they erase really, really well. So it does get down almost to the paper, removing that pigment with just a couple of movements of the eraser. So that's actually really, really good. It does leave a little bit of a pigment shadow, but that's typical of any colored pencil. So my thoughts and opinions on these pencils is they're a really good set of pencils. They color very, very nicely. Um, they do have a really good selection of colors. I would prefer a better selection and a larger set, but that's my own preference. If you enjoy the smaller sets, this is definitely a set of pencils that will cover your needs and will give you a really good availability of color. They, like I said, the only thing is if you are going to use your stickles, your sparkle gel pens, your Wink Estella, those types of things, a watercolor background, that sort of thing, make sure that you go through and you put the blender on top because of the fact that they are not water resistant. So I'm going to show you what I mean by adding the blender to create that resistance. So as we know, this is not water resistant up at the top. However, this part here has been blended with the Caran d'Ache blender. I'm going to wipe this off, make sure that I don't have any color on here, but I still have water. So as you can see, there's still water coming through. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to drag it. And as you can see, there is no color coming off of that. However, you can see the water sitting on top of it. And that's because the Caran d'Ache blender does have a really good amount of wax in the really good amount of water resistant wax in the blender, and that actually puts a really good seal over top of the area that you want to blend. That seal creates that water resistance. So if you're going to use your Wink of Stella or anything like that, watercolor, anything like that, make sure that you go over that area or go over your entire page and blend your entire areas that you've colored with the Caran d'Ache blender. Now, if you want that color to move and to blend into your Wink of Stella or that sort of thing, that is a clear base and you want to pick up that color, then don't worry about blending it. Just go over top of it and that color will absorb into that water base and create that color for that object. So for example, let me see here. Where is... I'm just going to grab my Wink of Stella if I can find it. I just had it the other day. There it is. Okay, so for example, this is my Wink of Stella. It is a clear Wink of Stella. And say I want this color here, but I want it to be sparkly. So I'm going to open my Wink of Stella, and I'm going to go over this. I'm going to make sure that my Wink of Stella is moving. There we go. And as you can see, the Wink of Stella picks up that color. So when you come down through here, you're moving that color with you. Now, if you don't want this color in the yellow, then you would want to have that blended so that that color doesn't move into the yellow. Same with this color here. If you don't want that color moved with the Wink of Stella, then you need to have that blended first. The one good thing is that the Wink of Stella, as it moves, will pick up that color and will blend it. However, if you don't have enough color down, it will actually lift it up and will show different sections that are not as pigmented because it's broken down that pigmentation. So as you can see with the Wink of Stella, just moving it along those areas has broken down that color and spread it out, which actually has given it a bit of a blended look, but it does move it into colors that you don't want it to be moved into. So for example, if I've moved the red all the way into the yellow, when I may have not wanted that yellow contaminated with that red. Same with here, I've moved that green all the way into the blue, which has created a different color. I've also been able to move that blue and break that blue down into a lighter color and move it across the page as well. So with having it protected with the water, and another thing is that the water base that I put over top of this, the water that I put over top of this now that it's dry, has not bubbled that area. However, the Wink of Stella has bubbled that area. So it's lifted that area up. The water is saturated into the page, into the paper. So the Caran d'Ache blender not only protects the pigment from moving, but it also protects the paper a little bit from getting that watercolor bubble. Now, any areas that you're doing the watercolor on a background area are still going to get that wrinkle in the page because you're not going to be covering the entire background with the Caran d'Ache, because you do want the water to permeate the background so that you can complete that background. So don't be putting this all over your entire page and hope that the watercolor will still work. It won't. If you have different areas that you don't want that watercolor to be in, don't put the Caran d'Ache blender down. If you have areas that you do want that watercolor to soak into the paper and saturate and look pretty, don't put the Caran d'Ache blender down. Now, if you have little areas that you want the watercolor to be, but have a little heart or a little star or a little snowflake or something that you don't want that watercolor to be, coat it in the Caran d'Ache blender then the watercolor will not stick to it at all, and you could just take a little bit of paper towel, dab up whatever color is over it, and it will actually lift right off. Those are my tips. I'm going to stop giving you tips. This is not a Caran d'Ache blender review. This is a colored pencil review. I just love the Caran d'Ache blender. There's so many different things that you can do with it. So for the Hiforny, again, I do not know if I am pronouncing that correctly, and I apologize to the company if I am pronouncing it wrong. They are a really lovely set of pencils for a 72 set. You get a good selection. They are a very budget-friendly pencil at $14.99, even on sale at $13.99. Even with the full set in a case with a blender, with an eraser, I think a pencil sharpener, is only $20. That in itself is pretty good. You can't buy a 72 slot case for under $15. So I would definitely say that that is a fantastic deal. So if you do enjoy a smaller set and do enjoy the Blackwood barrels, this may be a set that you would be able to work with really well. I will, of course, leave a link to the swatch chart below the video over on my coffee shop. I will also leave a link to the Hiforny on Amazon below the video, as well as on my page on the community tab, where I'm going through with different projects and making sure that I try to list the project as well as the pencils that I'm using. All right, guys, with that, I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. I'm going to zoom you back out so you can see the full chart because I've got you zoomed in a little too far. So that is everything for this set. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artist that you enjoy. Here is the page that I am working on with those pencils, and I think it's done really, really well. And I will be continuing with this page. This is the artist's rendition, and this is mine. And of course, I will be continuing with the Hiforny and finishing this page and posting it to Instagram. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artist that you enjoy. And of course, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye for now.